I want to give the floor to you for a second to talk a little bit about how chefs can take these learnings with social media, the opportunities and leverage that it offers to not just get a little bit of get some followers or potentially build an audience, but to actually make it a part of their business model.
Sure. So, for all my upcoming chefs out there, I would definitely recommend, even if you're working for somebody else, if you're an executive chef somewhere, chef de cuisine somewhere, start building your own personal brand. Okay. This was frowned upon. Okay. When I was working for Wolfgang Puck, I had one of the corporate chefs say, you can't build your own brand while you're piggybacking off Wolfgang's brand. And at first I was like, okay, chef, no problem. I shut down my YouTube video, right? My YouTube content. But now, seeing it from the other side, I totally disagree with that. And matter of fact, I asked WP himself, chef, how come you don't invest in your other chefs to open restaurants? You know, why not? Like, what's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think this is becoming more prevalent. So just to give you a little context here, once I became an executive chef and was managing the P&L, I could not wrap my head around how much money the restaurant was making and what I was being held accountable for, and then my shit ass salary. And so, anyway, off that topic, if you are in a restaurant, if you're a chef, start creating your own personal brand. Okay. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you, post on social media. But arguably, you can negotiate with vendors to use product for the restaurant that you can highlight on social media to get them bigger deals. Here's a good example. I was about to do a brand deal with a salmon company who, I definitely leveraged, was like, hey, I'll use this product. I'll use your product, if you send me X amount each week. I think a lot of chefs and restaurants aren't taking advantage of this with their vendors. Even I'm sure if, I'm just using Cisco I don't like Cisco, but I'm using them as an example. If you were to say, hey, listen, I'll post you on social media and you have 50K followers, if you give me a discount, right? You're saving money on your food cost, right? And people don't look at this. I would definitely be looking into this right now. Like, straight up, like if it was Regalis, food, I'd be like, hey man, check it out. Can you send me this? And I'll post it on social, right? That way you're not stuck with that cost. It can be at his cost, but you could also raise the check average because I'm telling you right now, it's all about that top line revenue. It's all about increasing the revenue, right? Like this is really important when you're managing a restaurant or managing an operation, and social media is free advertising. Okay. And the thing is I never even took in consideration if I were to say, hey, okay, I'll use Allclad. How about I highlight I'm using this in your video and you cut me a deal instead of, using my capital expenses budget to freaking purchase 20 grand worth of pans. Let's work a deal. Chefs need to start paying way more attention to that. Another good example is like Alto Sham. I would argue I wouldn't even think about opening a restaurant without an a combi oven. No way. Rationale. Just with a Rationale or I like the Alto Sham better because it's direct steam. The Rationale is a boiler steamer. But anyway, what I'm saying is like the amount of real estate that a combi oven takes and what it can do for you compared to a regular oven. But guess what? All these restaurant owners like, no, I'd rather spend $10,000 on a really good range. I don't want to spend 50K on a. But if you work with Rationale to say, hey, we're opening this restaurant, how about I highlight this in a video or make a YouTube series about it or an instructional video, because this has been my experience, and just let me use this as a demo, right? You can have any chef come by and I can give them a demo on it. That way, look, you're saving 50K. This can happen. I've done it, right? Like, and it's all because of social media leverage. And I think this is really important.
I think the concurrent interesting point with this is that there's a window now, and I mentioned the kind of like the bottomless hole that is content fulfillment on any of these platforms, but simultaneously a little bit to what we were kind of talking about with the mics off is that like Facebook just changed a lot of it. Like Facebook is in a dark place, so that a lot of the tracking that can happen with their ads on iPhones specifically makes it really hard for people to run ads on Facebook now. So now all these companies have these marketing budgets where they're like, well, shit, we can't spend it on Facebook ads. They're looking to other avenues like direct influencer partnerships. And they're like, hey, we have this marketing spend. We want to reach the audience that you're kind of going after. So are you interested? Would you be, and if you're one of the, I don't exactly know what the numbers are, but the proportion of people on different platforms that publish versus just consume is staggering. It is like, I'm almost positive on Instagram it's less than, maybe it's TikTok, is like less than 4% of users on TikTok like post versus just consume. Yes. Fascinating numbers there. And you have to realize that just by posting, deciding that you want to grow, deciding that you want to invest in creating content, you are in the you're in the minority. You're in the top percent of the
look
platform.
I'll be honest, you know what, let me just use this as an example, because look at Chef Jenner in Chicago. He just made a quenelle spoon, right? And massive. Yes, it is massive, and I'm curious to see what the sales are. I think, and I'm not speaking for him at all, but if he would have done a little bit of job if he would have done a little bit better of a job marketing this thing, meaning taking, yeah, exactly. So reach out to 5 chefs. Hey, post this on social media. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like guaranteed, if I were to post that quenelle spoon on TikTok, like saying, hey, all you young chefs, you need this, for sure it would sell. I literally only sold one thing on TikTok, and it sold out like that, dude. And it was just absolutely crazy. And but see, this is the thing. I want to be the person that makes the product, right? Like I want to, you know what I mean? But we'll get there. But that's a great point. And I want to make one suggestion for all influencers. Trust me when I tell you, stop doing brand deals in exchange for free product. Okay? Stop it. Stop.
Say it louder.
Dude, stop. Like, I know it's cool to get this shirt for free and this for free. Stop it. They need to send you the product anyway to shoot the video. But I think this is the biggest misconception. I don't even open these emails anymore. But what I will say is that times are changing, and the marketing budgets are getting bigger. And I will also say one more thing. If you want the big sponsorship deals like I'm going for, like Breville, Williams-Sonoma, I'm saving the tank for these, like Granda, for example. Make sure your content is clean. Make sure you're putting on a good face. I know that a lot of people get stuck in the place where they want to make a viral video, so they do some crazy stuff like being aggressive with cursing, or like a good example is like the one guy on TikTok. There's a few of them, but he cooks in his apron naked, and he just this is not a good idea if you want sponsorship deals. Now, the sponsorship deals that are out there, I'm telling you, the bar is getting higher and higher, and the bag is getting higher and higher. Literally. One of my content creator friends, he has less followers than me. He just signed a deal with the sponsor for $75K for the year for, somewhere around 15 to 18 TikTok videos. And this is real. This is a real deal that went through, and I'm just like, okay, this is definitely awesome, right? Shoot. So it's really important, I think.
Yeah. And I appreciate you talking about some numbers there, because I think that this is something, and I'm sure you can attest to this, where it's kind of made up. Like it's constantly changing. Like what CPM was years ago is not the same what CPM is now. Again, you and I are both acknowledging that, like, hey, the marketing budget has changed because the variables have changed. We can't have a multi-pronged strategy where we're doing Facebook ads and influencer partnerships and email. Now we have a bunch of this money that needs to get distributed elsewhere. It's like we need higher impact. So why not negotiate in a way where you can also take advantage of that?
Yeah, I'll also give another pro tip, and I think this is really important. If you're new and it doesn't matter how many followers you have. Okay, I think this is really important. A lot of people think, I need to have X amount of followers to do a brand deal. No, you don't. No, you do not. What you need to do is do the legwork and reach out to these brands. They're not going to reach out to you unless you have obviously I have brands reach out to me, but you need to do the legwork. Also, highly recommend, make sure you have a media package and a link to all of your sponsored videos so they can review, so they can see, because you have to sell yourself. And a lot of people just think it's going to fall in their lap. No, it's not. I know people that have millions of followers that are definitely hitting the ground running, sending their media package is what it's called. And basically it's a little snapshot of you, the value you bring, your follower count, and engagement is what they look for. Engagement is the top of the line. So here's a good example. On TikTok, we know that you can have 5 million followers and only get 10K views on your damn videos, right? That's why I'm in a unique spot where I only have 500,000, but my engagement is damn near 12%. And it's amazing. That's why I get scared when I get a viral video, because you get followers, you get a bunch of followers, but they're not invested in you as a creator. And this is a big issue. So if you post a viral video that gets 6-8 million views, and then you just get a huge amount of followers, sometimes this hurts you. Not to say, okay, it gives you good exposure, but you need to do the best you can to retain the people that have followed you. Remember that. Build a community. Don't go for the viral videos.